everybody to another episode of the Raw Approach. I have a special guest. I'm going to allow a special guest to introduce herself because I don't want to mess up her name, and please forgive me. And, and we will go from there. All right, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Wood. So, my name is Maryam Abdallah, and I am a mental health therapist and consultant here in Nashville. I am the CEO and founder of I Am Well Consulting, where we provide services to individuals, to couples, families, and the community, as well as workplaces. And so, basically, we're here to offer mental health support, mental health services, mental health education from individuals to communities to workplaces as a whole.
All right, now. So let's just go ahead and just dive in one of the key questions I like to ask. What is your niche? With doing what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would say I get most of my energy from working with Black women,
Okay.
particularly because I do a lot of healing work, and so healing trauma. And of course, I mean, everybody probably has experienced some type of trauma at some point in our lives. But I can really relate, of course, what's dear to my heart, and being a Black woman in society can be hard. And we are known to carry many things, tons of things overflowing on our plates, and not feel very comfortable to stop and ask for support or ask for help. And within all of that, there has been a lot of trauma that we've endured just within our personal lives, but then just again in being a Black woman, so within the workspace, within society, within relationships. And so, yeah, we do a lot of work, healing work, to help women understand deep down, who am I? And then how do I want to show up to the world? And that doesn't mean that I'm not strong. I can be strong, but I also can let go, process through, explore some of these things so that I can show up as a better, lighter version of myself. So I get a lot of passion in working with women. Yes.
That's very important, and I appreciate that. What got you into moving to your own business, becoming your own, becoming a consultant, and running your business, and going into the therapy?
Yeah, so I would say probably two things pushed me to do that. The first thing was that being in social work, working for an agency and working for government for 17 years, allowed me to see the journey of many families because I work with children. As you know, we've worked together.
Mhm.
So in the work with children and families, it was nice to be able to help families, get them resources, get them services, get them all these things. But what I started to notice was a pattern over the years of the same families coming back, needing the same services. And then because I was there for such a long time, then I started to see their children. Then they would become
Yes.
adults. And then I would be seeing their children. And I said, something has to give. Like what is not working, which I decided maybe starting from the inside out. So let's change their mindset. Let's help people heal so that then all of these resources that we are giving, which are great resources, so education, housing, employment, those are amazing resources, but
Right.
you have to be well on the inside to receive them and really put them to use. So changing your mindset instead of giving them all these services and putting them back in the same environment with the same mindset, and then they end up coming back to see us. And so I
Yeah,
decided to go into mental health.
yeah, I appreciate that. A lot of people don't know, especially coming out the environment that we came out of with DCS and working with kids and stuff like that, is that it's generational, and you just identified that. And when you start dealing with kids, and you see them grow, and then you see their kids come in, and then you don't already work with the mom prior to their kids being young. So now you're going to touch three generations in a matter of a quick 15, 16 years.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, it's very much needed. And then one thing I noticed, and I think we talked about this once before, is when as case managers, family service workers, or supervisors, and being in there and really providing the services that they need, and get to the point where you're told to, all right, time to close this case out.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yep.
know that this case is not ready to be closed.
Yes.
And it
Yep.
puts you in a predicament where you like, okay, if we close this case now, they're gonna be back in a couple of months.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, so when you try to be proactive through a governmental perspective, it really didn't allow you to do, because lawsuits and everything. So many things have to be closed, and all that. I think it was the Brian A lawsuit at that time. So it is what it is. Sadly to say, it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the second. You're right. That was the second. So that was the second reason, really, to get away from all the red tape. So, I I make my own procedures, my own policies. I can go with my gut and my intention. This family needs, some more services. This family needs some more support. This family needs this. And I can do that for them versus, well, policy says we have to close this case.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you define success?
Success. Um, So I would say we'd probably be here for a while if I talked all the way through it. But I would say
Just give me a
for
quick little
me,
snippet.
yeah, the gist of it really is when I feel content and happy and peaceful. Like if I can feel like at the end of the day, I've been able to show up for my career, my profession. I've been able to show up for my family, and I've been able to show up for myself. And it all feels good, like it all feels aligned and feels
Yeah.
settled. I feel successful. And that
Hey,
has nothing to do with monetary. If I don't get paid anything, if at the end of the day I feel that, I'm successful. That's what it means to me.
and it's good to hear as I talk with more and more people, from even those that are super successful financially. Um, it's not about the finances. It's about feeling in purpose and what you are doing. And for me, it's all about, I enjoy getting up doing what I'm doing as a consultant. I enjoy reaching out to people. And one of my things that I love to hear when I bring different people from different genres on, because my whole purpose with everybody is to get to them to tell how they deal with work-life balance. But for people to say, "Hey, I did not know that this service was out there. I didn't know that that there was a black woman that was doing therapy, or that specialized in special things, or whatever." And that's the thing, is trying to bring awareness to everybody, and just to see people just get that aha moment. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, that's a good feeling. So with
Yeah.
that said, what is the situation that you have been in where somebody gave you a compliment, and you were like, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm doing kind of like that. Yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing based on that. Yeah. Yeah. So I think anytime that I am working with clients and we're on this journey, and many people want to come into therapy and they expect or they assume that as soon as we start therapy, they're going to feel better. Like all their problems are going to be gone, that I'm there to solve them. But then in that journey, in that therapeutic relationship that we build, they soon learn that I'm really just holding space and helping you think through and come up with your own answers and really explore for your own self. I'm not really there to do a lot. You're there to do the work yourself. And so when we can do full process and clients fully commit, and then they say, "Oh, you know what? I was at work and this made me upset, and I took a break and I took three deep breaths and I calmed down and I thought out how I wanted to respond, and then I went back into the meeting and was able to give a wise mind response." That makes me feel like, you know what? They've heard me. We've done what we came here to do, because it really is. We can talk in the session, but you have to be able to apply it in the real world because I'm not in your pocket. And so when you come in and tell me that you've applied it in the real world, that makes me happy.
And I like that because a lot of people, um, I would like to use this example. I have never seen a weightlifter start lifting weights in competition the next day.
Right.
I've never seen one. It's small steps. It's going to take time. And from stuff like that, that's where I have my personal slogan, that small victories leads to greater success. But you got to take steps one thing at a time, one thing at a time. Tell me what your thoughts, since we're on that topic, about this quote right here. It states, challenge yourself is the only path which leads to growth.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're your best competition. Like I tell my clients, we do a lot of comparison just because social media, news outlets, neighbors, friends have all these things. So we love to compare ourselves, or I think it's just human nature to compare ourselves to the next person. But I tell
Right.
them, only compare yourself to yourself. Compare yourself to where you were last year. Compare yourself to where you were last month. Compare yourself to where you were when you set these goals initially. And so you are your competition. You are trying to be better today than you were yesterday. And if it's only,
Absolutely.
like you said, one step, it may be one thing better. It's still progress. So yeah, yep, absolutely. You should be the only one challenging yourself in that way. Yeah.
And that's a healthy way of doing it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I talk about being critical in your own critiquing of yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, a lot of times we're more harder on ourselves than other people. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what keeps us on a narrow path. That's not a bad thing. It's almost like a self check.
Yes. Yep. Checking in. Where am I? And how am I doing? Yeah.
Right. Let me ask you this. Do you have a daily routine that keeps you focused with everything that you got going on? Because you're a busy woman. We talked earlier, you got a lot of stuff going on.
Yes, yes, I do have a daily routine, and yes, it's a lot of stuff going on. The number one thing, look, I'll say even right now, look, I got something going on with my neck, but I know what it is. There's like three things that have happened today. If you're here in Nashville, one of them, the school
Yeah.
shoot. And of
School
course,
shoot.
I have a daughter that's in school, so that instantly gave me something going on back here. But typically, what I do is so I start my day. Number one is checking in, what you just said. Check in on myself. I check in on how I'm feeling, and I check emotionally and then physically, because I want to know how am I feeling before I start seeing people, before
Correct.
I start taking on other stuff. I need to know what belongs to me and what belongs to them. But if I don't check in and I start seeing clients or I start working with individuals, then I'm mixing all the stuff together and I don't know what is mine. So I check in on how I'm feeling. And then physically, I check in because, again, this body has to sustain all of these things. And we know that stress, trauma, hurt, strong emotions show up in your body. So I need to make sure I've drunk enough water. I need to make sure I'm getting up and stretching in between. Um, we got the big bottle. Absolutely. Taking a break. I need to make sure I have
And
eaten.
this my little bottle. This is my big bottle.
Oh, that's your big bottle.
I drink a lot of water. I've always loved water, and not to get off topic, but a lot of people think I'm crazy, but I drink water straight out the sink. I'm from here. I've always drank it. It's no, I just can't see myself paying for water that I've drunk all my life.
Yes, we all have. Look, and we even drunk it out the water hose when you were outside and couldn't come in. So, and we're okay. We're making but yes, so checking in on your physical to give yourself what you need. And so after that check-in, what do I need to do based on that? How am I feeling? Do I need to turn on some gospel music because I'm not feeling it today? I need to lift my spirits before I get on with somebody. Do I need to meditate? Do I need to read my devotional? I try to do at least one of those things each morning, either devotional, meditate, journal. about something before I start my session and set my intentions. Like, what are my intentions for today? Because each day, because I do a lot, I may be doing different things. And so I set my intentions depending on if I'm working, if I'm teaching that day, or if I'm doing a training that day, or if I'm seeing clients. What are my intentions and how do I want to show up? And then the biggest thing for me is then at the end of the day, releasing. Like I need to be able to, those things that I said separate, like all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff that just landed on me is not mine. It's not my work. It is the client's work. It is that person's responsibility. And so then I let it go. I clean my office space, my desk, my area, and then I leave out of my office to be with my family, transition to my family, and then that's my day. So I have let it go. So I think checking in the mornings and then transitioning and releasing in the afternoons or evenings are my biggest things that help me throughout the day.
It's healthy to have a process.
Hmm.
And it seems like you got a process that's intact and you know what you're doing. But I want to
Yeah.
back up on something just to make a statement. It said, to hear about another school shooting today. Um, and then on the flip side, man, we had a lot of stuff that we dealt with in going to school, but we was not too concerned about people bringing guns in the school, shooting in the school, and that's a lot for kids. I'm talking about from grade school all the way to high school.
Hmm.
Just that whole thought of it's today my last day seeing my family if I go to school. That's a
Hmm.
lot to deal with. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's a good, thing to bring up. So, and I just pray that everybody, including those families, including those kids, get some type of therapy. And for people to understand, get past the stigmatism. It's okay to not be okay
Yes.
after
Absolutely.
witnessing something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
with that
Absolutely.
said, I thank you for that part. Now I'm going to ask you, how do you identify a work-life balance? Let's say you were talking to one of your clients, and what do you do to keep a work-life balance?
Yeah. So work-life balance, I would say, probably has been one of the hardest things for me to get right, or yeah, right for me. um and so of course when I was younger and straight out of college, it was great because I wanted to save the world, I wanted to work hard, I wanted to move
Right.
up, and I had the ability and the energy and the time to
And
do
the
that
ambition. Yeah.
and the ambition. And so that worked when I was younger. And so now I am later in life. I have a spouse, I have a daughter, I have family, I have all these things on my plate. And so what I've learned is instead of trying to balance them equally, like, sometimes people say balance is like 50%, you got to get 50% here, 50% there. I've learned that no, each day I have to decide what is priority. And so today, my daughter may be priority. And so she may require 70% of my time. And then my work may only require 20% of my time. And then I may require only 10% of my time in this one day. So it really is, as long as I touch all the things that are important to me, which are myself, my family, my profession, then I feel balanced. If I've gone through a day or a week and haven't touched those spaces, at least, again, they don't have to be equal, but at least touch those spaces enough to know what's going on, what's happening, which space may need me a little more the next day. If I'm doing that, then I feel balanced. And I'm still working on it. Some days are better than the next, some weeks are better than the next, some months are better than the next, but um, I think just practicing that of let me make sure I'm touching the things that I say are important to me. That makes me feel balanced, like I'm not all over the place. Because otherwise, then I'm just touching everything because I'm trying to give it equal space and time when it's not really needed. Like, oh, I didn't need to spend all that time there. It wasn't necessary. So, yeah.
And I think that's good because you had a very realistic perspective on things. And what I say that is, yeah, today you might require 70% of something, but yesterday did not require 70%. But that's realistic. You're going in with a realistic plan on how things have to happen for you and your family. You know what I'm saying? And your profession, most importantly. And this brings me to the 7 tips that you have to forgive me. My little computer's just not working right now. Uh, you know how it is when you're trying to get things done, it don't want to work right.
It don't want to
But,
work. And it said it's the end of the day. It said, look, I'm done too.
and here's 8 tips that I use for my clients as we sit down, we talk, and we develop plans. And this is just 8 little tips. One is make time for yourself. You know, I tell people, make time for yourself. Develop a routine. And you identify that twice in 2 different situations. Exercise. We have a lot of people that exercise. Even if that means just walking. A lot of people feel that you got to go lift up the gym and do what? No. Go do something. Get your heart rate up besides sitting down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have to do better at that. Yes.
Some people, I tell them, you in a situation, you got to totally unplug. Get off that phone. Leave social media alone.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people spend more time on social media and the fake news, and which goes back to what you was identifying on, that people compare themselves to what they see, and what you see is not always necessarily true. It's so much prompting, so much filtering, there's so much stuff going on, and you trying to be something that's not even real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to stay in your own lane. You know what I'm saying? Just because she weighing 300 some pounds and got down to 150, but that might be her body size. You got to find what works for you. You know, she was 5'2". You 5'12", 5'11".
Yes, it's not going to look the same.
It's not going to look the same. You know what I'm saying? A couple of things I have is totally unplug, set boundaries.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know how to set boundaries for other people. Set career goals. You know, it's okay to leave a career. I tell people all the time, I woke up 27 years later and I walked away from the industry and I was happy with it. And I felt like that, you know, when I was in it, I was in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Next to time management, identify where your time need to go. And this is the big one. And you and I talked about this today, and this is the other one that I tell so many people that they have to learn to say, is learn to say no.
Yeah, absolutely.
No is a complete sentence.
That's it.
Stand on it. It is healthy. You'll be okay.
Yep. No is a complete sentence. I think people, well, I know what happens is we just get used to giving an answer very quickly. That's the first thing. Step back and think about, like, if I say yes to this, how does it make me feel? I already start to feel anxious. Yes is not the answer, but we just quick to give someone an answer because society loves quick, fast. You know, we gotta know, what can you do this? You just want a response. No, let me think about this. I'll get back to you. And then if I sit with that and I'm not feeling good about the yes, it's a no. Or like you said, it can also be a no just because I need to just sit with something that doesn't involve anybody else and it involves my couch. And so no can be that I am taking time for myself to do nothing. And so the answer is no.
And that's okay. All right. I want to share with you a couple of quotes. I like doing this. Quotes. It just gives, I like to hear different people perspectives on different things. Here's one. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. What's your thoughts about that?
Absolutely. I think it's like progress, not perfection. Like you said it earlier, it is about taking steps, and it doesn't matter how big, small, medium the steps are, leaps, whatever. Just take a step, whether it's just one foot in front of the other, which means I did one thing different or better than I did yesterday, today. That's
Exactly.
all. And so it steps forward, really small. The small steps forward are what you will then look back and say, oh my goodness, I've really changed. I've really made a difference. And that feels good versus trying to make a big leap at once and failing. Like, take the small steps, get there, enjoy the process. Because the other thing is, a lot of what we learn and do and who we are happens in those small steps, the walking there, not the accomplishment of that thing. Because we'll get to that thing, accomplish it, and move on, set another bar. We don't even sit and accept and recognize ourselves for what we've done. But if you take those small steps, you're going to say, oh, look, I did that. I was working every day. I took the time. I stayed consistent. I showed up. So yeah, I say, yeah, the magic is in taking small steps to get to where you want to be.
Let me say ouch. Let me say ouch. Because up until about 2020, I was one that really did not take the time to live in the moment. I was ready to I need to get this done. Cool, it's done. I'm about to go on vacation. I'm ready to get back. Cool, it's done. I never took the time to live in the moment. And that was something that changed my life for myself. Because I said, you know what are you rushing for?
Yeah.
What are you rushing for? Nothing is going to change. You're not going to finish nothing no faster. You're not going to get nowhere no faster. You're not going to, nothing is going to move until it's time for it to move. And I had to learn to slow down to enjoy the moment, to enjoy the process. And I think a lot of people don't get that part. And I'm saying that for me because, like I said, that was me. But when I slowed down, everything began to fall in place. I was able to think clear, move in a whole lot swifter movement, and able to process a whole lot quicker because you're thinking slower.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because you said something where everybody want a quick answer now. Everybody want a quick answer. And you know, growing up, you know, people from the street always tell you, be careful for them people that are always talking all fast, that they swindling.
They slick.
Yeah, they try to be slick, swindling and slick. And because you can be like, why are you talking so fast? What is it you're trying to hide? And that's just how, you know, that's just how I look at a lot of stuff. And especially when I work with a lot of kids, especially in the detention center and the corrections, and I used to always tell them, why are you talking so fast?
Yeah.
What is you trying to hide? Because no matter how fast you talk, we're not going to move no faster.
Right.
And then they learn to slow it down. Okay. I'm going to give you one more. And then if you have any questions or concerns or anything that you want to ask me, feel free. Let's see. That's the same. Okay. This is a good one. Give me your thoughts on this. Into each life, some rain must fall.
Absolutely. And that might be more often than we would want it to. But I think kind of like the small steps and really enjoying the process. I think when we have obstacles and challenges, things that are hard, they make us have to slow down sometimes and think and come up with an answer and find a solution and be intentional. And so I think some of those obstacles and challenges that reign come to say, hey, slow down, because maybe we won't do it on our own. We're going to keep giving quick answers and talking fast. And so maybe the universe puts something out there to say, okay, let me just slow you down so you can work through this. And on the back end of it, hopefully you've taken a lesson from it because you had to slow down. Like, oh, you know what? I'm taking a note about this situation. So for the next time, because there'll be some more rain and it might be even harder. It might be a thunderstorm. It might be a tornado. We'll have all of those at some point. But at each each time, if we're taking notes on, you know what, this is the lesson in this. So let me take this. Then I'll be able to apply it next time because I've slowed down and I've thought, oh, yeah, this happened. Here's some options. Here's what I can do instead of the rain comes and you got that quick answer. Let me get out of here.
And
Mm-hmm.
so many times when the rain comes, people feel that their plans have been spoiled. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you gotta look at that rain from a perspective that ultimately, yeah, it may slow you down, but it shouldn't stop you. And then you got to look on the back end. Just because you weren't able to do something that you wanted to do at the moment of time, that rain represents so many things in your life, such as washing away certain things. It can be washing away stuff that you've been holding on to, and
Mm-hmm.
preparing you for a level of growth that you may not be ready for, but it's all what you always been talking about.
Yeah.
And my thing is, a lot of times we talk about things, but we don't put in no actions. We dream, but we don't put nothing in it to make that dream come true. You know,
Mm-hmm.
without no work. I mean, how do you plant something and you don't provide the nutrients for it, the
Yeah.
water, the soil, and expect it to grow? And
Right.
we're the same way. We got to expect there's going to be rainy days in our lives. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, we got to move and find the most. I like to find the positive in a situation. And so
Mm-hmm.
many times people look for the negative. No, take that same energy, find the positive. I mean, sometimes it means the rain may just say, sit down,
Sit down. Take rest.
sit
Yeah.
down, just sit down. All right,
Yeah.
you got anything you want to ask me?
Um, yeah. So in talking about all these things, and especially going back to what you were saying about it took you a number of years to really slow down and be appreciative of the process. But not only that, I think the celebrating of, and especially, I would say, especially a lot of our Black and Brown communities, we weren't really taught to celebrate ourselves because we were taught to work hard. We got to go
Mm-hmm.
above and beyond. We got to
Mm-hmm.
do, all these things. We got to take care of business. And so it didn't leave a lot of room to celebrate and really find joy. And so I want to ask you in this space, in this season in your life, where do you find joy? How do you find joy and where do you find joy?
That's so simple for me. I find joy in just getting up in the morning. And
Mhm.
I tell people, I've seen so many people, I'm 52 years old. Um, I've seen so many of my friends come and go. Like we just buried another one of my fraternity brothers not too long ago. And just it's for me, it's the simple things. I'm an extreme minimalist. I don't have to have the flashy stuff. Never had. I don't have to have the biggest car and all that. And this is not something that you hear people say that, but I know I live it. I don't have to have it. For me, the smallest things makes me smile. And for me, the smallest thing is waking up with shelter over my head. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Because it's
Being
2
able to
degrees
that's a,
outside. I
go
said
ahead.
it's 2 degrees outside, so absolutely shelter is big.
And just being able to share some of my experience in life, some of my experience from education with other people, and trying to help other people to find their niche in this world of leadership. Because my whole perspective and is to help people become better leaders and better employees in the workplace. I
Hmm.
want people to understand what leadership style helps you to become more productive. And then also from a supervisor, what leadership style do you have that is more productive with your people? Especially with the environment we used to work in, you've been taught to treat everybody the same. But
Hmm.
realistic, you can't.
Yeah.
You have to understand your people and provide them the resources and the tools and the hands-on in order for them to become more productive. And
Yeah.
what I found in that environment, because that's what my dissertation is over, to prevent the turnover rate in with family service workers.
Yeah.
Um, and what my findings is that people that really have a hands-on supervisor that really care for them, that really show them the resource, show them how to get things done in a better, productive way. I understand you have a high caseload. Let me show you this, and this is how I used to do it. Or you can say, hey, you know what? I ain't never done that, but your idea that you just brought up, I want to bring that to the team, but I want you to present it. Allow people to have ownership. That's what this whole thing where the raw approach come from. A lot of people hear the raw approach, they feel it's in your face and it is, this is what it's going to be. Yeah, it is in some perspective. But my thing is the R stands for respect. Everybody that comes to work want to feel respected. They want to feel like you paying them attention. The next letter is A. I want people feel they want to feel appreciated. And the environment that we was in, if they didn't feel appreciated, they walk out that door. Because there was a million other jobs out there. And then the other one is worthy of the organization, worthy that the supervisor paying them attention. And it goes back to this piece right here. And this, just talking about it makes me feel good. And I get joy from it. But this is the piece that I always like leaders to understand. Two things. You can't lead if there's nobody there to be led. Right. That's number one. You can't lead if there's nobody there to be led. And then number two, people don't lead organizations. They lead supervisors and managers. Because when they leave, they ain't gonna talk about well, this company, blase, blase, blase. They really didn't have a direct with the company owners, the leaders. They didn't have a direct communication. They had communication with you as a supervisor or the team leader. And that's what was going to put that bad taste in their mouth. When people don't feel like they've been respected, heard, or feel like they feeling worthy of organization, they're going to leave. So my thing is to teach organizations how to be a better organization and to appreciate their employees. And I challenge everyone, and I say this on a lot of my posts, read the book Good to Great by Jay Collins. So to my audience, I tell you, read the book Jay Collins, Good to Great, because it teaches you how, through your reading, how organizations went from being just good to great. And a lot of times you got to make hard decisions. And on the flip side, people have to understand being a great leader, sometimes it's a lonely position. Yeah. And you got to stand on that because it's not favorable. Because you got to make decisions for the organization. Then you got to protect, and then you got to take the directives that came down from the organization to the people. Yeah. But you got to be able to do it where you showing ownership. This is what we're doing. I do apologize if you don't like it, but these are the steps we're going to make this happen. Now that we done this, give me your steps or your thoughts on how we can make this process happen. Because at the end of the day, it's a directive. It's got to happen. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. That's my thing. I enjoy teaching. That's my special. Teaching and watching people get it, watching people learn new concepts. My whole idea when I first started going to college for my dissertation and working on my doctorate degree, I've always said, and I didn't know how this was going to be. My goal is, as a leader, I want to develop my own leadership theory. Yeah. And never thought that I was going to actually do it. But just from all the research and dealing with certain organizations and dealing with certain people, and that's how the raw approach came by. I said, you know what? Here it is. So I'm in the midst of writing a book to let people know what the raw approach is. And then my second book, I already got a title for it. I'm putting some stuff together for that now, and it's going to be Leadership by Default. I think we talked about that one day. Yes. Leadership by default. So we're going to, I'm going to dive into it from a different perspective, but it's going to give people a lot of that. I never looked at it like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. So,
And it's great. I love that you have the personal experience. And so you've led teams, you've been a leader, um, I know from my perspective, I've made mistakes as a leader and then
Yeah,
I've learned ways to do it different and do it hopefully better. But I think at the end of the day, like you said, when you take a step back, it really is about that empowerment of the worker or the staff or your team. Because yes, everybody wants all those things you just shared: respect, appreciation, to feel
we
worthy.
worth it.
And
Yeah,
if you don't, yeah, not only will they, if they don't leave immediately, their work will suffer and then they'll leave. So either way, you're going to lose out, like you said. So
or
you
or,
want
or,
to
or,
continue to
or you're gonna
lead.
be forced to get rid of them.
What, right. And then that's even more work. So hey, put the other work in on the front end, like you said, that's
Yeah,
much better. And it helps you as a, I would say, as an individual. I know it helped me to grow and learn and find out some new things about myself.
yes, that's the key.
Yeah.
That's the catch right there. You learn about something about yourself. Anything else?
Um, no, I like that for that joy. I think finding joy in what you do every day is the most
Mhm.
important thing. Because
Yeah,
if you're not doing something that you enjoy every day, then that means what? You're not happy every
you're
day.
not
We want
happy.
you to be.
Yeah.
We
And,
should.
and, and it's good that I tell people because happiness comes from within,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I'm glad you use that word. Okay. Well, as we get ready to wrap up, tell the audience how they can find you or make appointments or whatever, and then when you get done with that, leave them with a little bit of encouragement.
A little bit of encouragement. Okay, so again, my name is Maryam Abdallah, and I am the founder of I Am Well Consulting. So we provide mental health services to individuals, couples, families, as well as consulting to workplaces around the importance of mental health. Um, and so you can find me on all social media, so Facebook, Instagram, whatever else is out there at I Am Well Consulting. You can follow me or find me on LinkedIn under Maryam Abdallah. And then you can reach out if you want to call the office. I have a great team of therapists that are experienced in different areas and can hopefully we can get you connected to the right fit,
Yeah.
someone that is a good fit for you. And so you can call the office at 615-543-6589, or you can go to the website at iamwellconsulting.com and fill out the contact form, and we'll give you a call back and get you scheduled with a free 15-minute consultation just to, again, make sure that we have what you are looking for and then that you get fit with the right therapist. Um, and so, yeah, those are ways to find me. And what would I leave with the audience for tonight? I would say being practicing, I think for all of us to just practice more mindfulness, especially in this season, in this new direction that the country is about to take with a new
Right.
president. I would say making sure that you find ways to be mindful. That is to live in this moment, to remind yourself that in this moment, all this stuff may be happening around me, but I am safe. I'm sitting here. I can touch this. I can feel this. In this moment, I am safe. And I can come back to those things and think about those things and process those things or not. I can turn my phone off. I can turn the TV off. I can turn the news off and I can just be. And so I think going more, yeah, start practicing mindfulness more. When you pick up that phone to scroll, put it down and go sit somewhere. Just breathe. Don't do anything, just be. So I think that would help us all kind of start to decrease the stress that's normal stress. And then on top of that, the stress that is about to be, be triple fold if we allow it. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. Now I'm gonna
yeah,
say that, Mariam. Did I say it right?
yes.
Okay. Marvin, I appreciate you for coming on. We will reach out to you again. I enjoyed it. And I hope the audience enjoyed it. And there will be, I'm sure, you will get some people that are always talking about learning new things. And I thank you for this moment. and sharing your time with us on tonight.
Yes,
All
I
right.
appreciate it. I thank you for the invite, and it was a great time talking with you too. Have a
All
good
right,
night.
man. Hey, y'all, we had a good time. I pray that y'all stick around. We will do this again next week, and week after that, we will continue to grow. Um, just remember, small victories leads to greater success. And I am Dr. Woods, and you had just been hit by the Raw Approach. Peace out.